left-handed people see better underwater for some reason.
No way.
That's weird, I think.
Welcome to the show.
Hey!
This is the Genesee County Compassion Club show. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. It's beautiful. Not really. It's a muggy day.
Yeah, it's not beautiful.
I was going to say it's beautiful. No, I'm not going to BS you folks. It's not beautiful out there.
I got caught in the rain. I tried to mow the yard. It was a mess.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just covered in wet, weed whipping, this wet
Mosquitoes.
Oh, it was a mess. I did not enjoy this morning at all.
Swamp. It's like a swamp. The whole state is in swamp state.
Yeah. It's the first day I haven't had to turn the air conditioner on in a while, though. That's
yeah,
nice.
It is nice. It's a little cooler out, that's for sure. How's it going today, folks? Got some stuff we want to cover with you.
Good.
Let you know what's happening down at the Genesee County Compassion Club. We're discussing the first banking system before the show started. Talking about
Caught us off guard there.
yeah, caught us off guard. Somehow talked about staircases. Went from there.
Yep. And that left-handed people see better underwater.
Yes.
Odd fact of the day.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I find that odd.
Left-handed people see better underwater.
Yes.
My sister and my brother-in-law both left-handed, so I'll have to ask if they test that theory.
Right.
How's it look?
Get one of those, make up one of those eye charts, stick it in the bathtub. It seems closer. What's up? Closer.
You win.
All right.
Did before you blacked out anyway. But
What if are there's people that they're if you're ambidextrous then you not have a dominant eye?
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe you're like.
Doesn't matter. Left eye can shoot both handed. Don't have to blink or squint.
Right. Yeah, they're the winners in my opinion.
Need special abilities.
Mm-hmm. Even the stupid stuff like weed whipping. My back started bugging me on my one side. That'd be awesome if it was comfortable for me to just switch sides. If I was ambidextrous.
Think about the weed whipping disability.
Could have made my morning better.
Can't flip it over.
Right.
I don't know. You're right.
Dig dirt, man. You know.
I think I can do it with a shovel easier than a weed whipper. I don't know why. I'm not an ambi-turner.
It would be the foot action. Yeah, that would be weird on the shovel.
Oh, shoot. All right, we got some stuff we want to tell you about. We've got the soup kitchen coming up. I think that's actually 2 days from now.
Soup kitchen.
Soup kitchen. So join us down at the soup kitchen. It's the North End Soup Kitchen, 2 o'clock at the club.
Yep.
Meet us there, carpool over, cook it up, serve it up. It's always a good time. Definitely.
You guys head over at 2, or
Yes.
you get there at 2? So get there a
usually
little bit
leave
before
at the
2.
club.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave the club at 2.
Get there about 1:30.
Right. Yeah, get there early.
Or earlier.
Or
Get there at 10 when we open. Hang out.
Yeah.
Why not?
Check out the new booths.
Yeah, you can take pictures. That picture thing's cool.
I'm at the bars.
Yeah, there's new additions to the
Call them
club.
booths.
if you
I
will.
can't stop calling them
I know.
booths.
Yeah, they're hash bars. Herb bars.
Bars? No, you just come into the club. You'll see what we're talking about. New bars,
Yeah.
not bars.
We've
Yeah.
added a couple things, but it actually looks more roomy. That's what somebody was saying yesterday. It looks roomy in there for some reason. But
I was
there's-
in the day and it didn't even really. I mean, I saw them, but it sat at the bar. Didn't even. It's like no different at all. Right?
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah, come check it out. We got the new booths like we're talking about for the front areas there. Got some added spaces, which I know where people were asking for.
yeah, that'll help out a lot.
Definitely, that's cool. And then hopefully here in a day or so we'll have our testing running.
Testing.
Finally.
Yeah, people are ready. People are ready.
People are ready. So come on in, get your cannabis tested. It's full mass
That's the stuff.
mass specometry. It's a full boat, the real deal. Test your terpenes. Test
That's gonna
your.
be cool.
So hopefully you don't test your molds, but test to see that you don't have mold.
Yeah.
and test your potency. Find out what you got: CBDs, THCs, CBNs, and we can test for other cannabinoids as well. So I'm getting a buzzing.
Yeah, we're getting a buzz here.
Now it's gone.
And I'm not talking about my pen.
There it is again. It is. It coincides with your pen.
Does it?
No.
There's some sort of Wi-Fi.
Yeah. John, we're getting some vapes in our ears.
Some kind of buzzing going on there. I don't know. Somebody weed whipping? Seems to be that kind of day.
Me? I mean, no, I'm not buzzing on anything, but maybe
No,
coffee.
In the head,
ears,
in the
the
headphones.
headset.
Okay, I thought you were talking about being buzzed. Like,
Are you in there
I just,
shaving?
yeah, no. I was just up here. Like, well, I was checking my email on my phone and kind of letting you
see,
guys
it's
do
back
your
to
thing.
back.
Here.
It could be. It could be the the speakers right there. You turn it down a little bit. Okay, has it disappeared yet?
It hasn't come back on yet.
Okay. All right.
There it is. Look, that was quick.
And I don't hear it in the feedback.
It's in the speaker for sure.
In the speaker, yeah.
Yeah. That little guy. What are you doing there, buddy?
The other one's got the the volume control on it. The other part of the speaker.
Yeah, no, when you touch that, it's
Seems
kinda,
okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to get electrocuted.
All right, crisis averted. And we're back!
We're back. All right, we got some news. Let you know what's going on. You know, I was
Beep, 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 beep. We need some sort of thing that brings
news
the
intro.
Yeah. The news on the line. Beep, 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 beep. Okay.
All right. The blip. We're working on the blips. Anyways, we got it's like a history lesson, or I guess, or how an example of how politics works in this country. If you look at the states that are joining on the bandwagon right now for medical marijuana, how it's being done and so forth, it not only is that interesting, but it's also like a view into how politics work in this country.
Right.
It's pretty amazing. Right now there's a whole slew of states that are approving CBD only type medical marijuana bills. Some are just for research, some are for concentrate forms only, some people only want the hash,
Right.
some people only want oil being distributed. Some of these are just for research purposes, like through universities or hospitals. But you got New York, Georgia just recently did one, Minnesota did one as well. And then at the same time, you've got GW Pharmaceuticals also getting permission to actually conduct these research studies using their product Epidiolex, which is a high CBD concentrate.
You could get plutonium to do research more easier than you can in some of these states. And this is absurd. It's a plant, people. It's a plant.
Yeah, and that's not what's getting approved. Basically, they're approving these CBD only type products, and they're being hailed as sort of like the miracle workers for especially children suffering from epilepsy and other seizure type disorders.
And the parent doesn't have to worry about them getting discombobulated from the THC a little bit.
Right, and I think that it's just kind of interesting to me that you see all these states passing these bills, governors signing laws in place, and it's right at the same time that you've got GW Pharmaceutical, on this very edge of getting this out there. And I think it's obviously no coincidence that's what's happening. And I don't know, it's kind of an interesting thing to see how politics work. I mean, it'd be interesting to what donations have been made on state levels at these things in order to get these bills passed through, and then being done in kind of like it almost seems like being done in conjunction with the news coverage that was in the national media, talking about the young children who were treated in Colorado with this CBD type medicine. So, I mean, it's a good thing, obviously. I'm not trying to, we want to see these people get relief, but it's also a lesson out there to the people that want to try to change laws or get, work done with their representatives, with their local government, state, and so forth. And, I mean, it's probably a precursor to seeing the national federal drug scheduling change in some manner, I think, as well. But
hopefully that pushes it through.
Well, and I think what they would like to see, though, is whole plant being available.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is like a diversion. I think it's just like here, we want to get this drug approved, and so they're starting to get this legislation in place across these states to get that out there, sort of break the ice into the market. If people want to see the groups like normal, then that's how it's done right there, with money.
Yeah.
With money.
Money talks.
Yeah. The Minnesota Board of Pharmacy, they were kind of talking about the bill going back and forth. They had some people support it, some people didn't that were on the board. It was kind of the banter going forward.
Politicians don't come cheap. I mean, they're getting
Right.
pricier now. I mean, they're more expensive than prostitutes. I mean, way more.
Well, yeah.
And they stick around. I mean, you can't pay them enough to leave. You know.
You got to be a repeat customer. There's no one time, you know.
They're hookers in suits. That's what they are. You know.
It's unfortunate, but true. I just think, why go through all that? It seems like the voters in those states a lot of times have petitions, you know, that they're working on or trying to get signed. So you got people out there trying to get a bill going, and then, you know, the legislature just steps right over the top of that. No, this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
You know, we've listened to the people that pay us, and that's what they.
Yeah, well, you guys don't
Yeah,
pay us enough with
time
our
is money.
wages. We don't get paid enough with our wages, our salaries from being, you know, representatives. We don't get enough that way. You know, we can't support a wife and 3 mistresses on that. I mean,
Well, I kind of understand, but you know, it sucks that it's gone overboard. But you know, time is money, so and they have to spend their time. They're in that position. They have to focus their time on something. So, in this case, yeah, the more money makes their time worthy, I guess, or whatever. So, you got money, you'll get them to spend their time on you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, not much you can do. I mean, really, we'd like to see the whole plant being exercised. I think there's going to be some benefits in there that people aren't realizing by going with a pharmaceutical type. And you know, this year, it just makes me upset seeing that. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, all the years these people put into trying to get legislation passed, and then, oh, there we go.
Right.
Taking your money
Mm-hmm.
and running.
It sucks.
All right, let me pull some other stuff up here. Get off the poo-poo subjects. Poo-poo.
Caca, poo poo doo doo.
I don't know. It's bittersweet because you got some people that are getting helped out by it.
Right.
You know, hopefully you see people get.
You can't hate it, but right.
No.
But you want to.
You're missing out, people.
Has there been a lot of action in the news world this week?
There was a couple of studies that came out. They were talking about this one here. This is for psychosis.
Okay.
They don't want you to have psychosis.
Studies proven.
Studies proven you don't want to
You
have
don't
that.
want psychosis.
No, they did a study here. It's in schizophrenia. It was on schizophrenia research, and they had 170 individuals that were at high risk for psychosis. So maybe they had some, like, hereditary risk,
Right.
so on. Someone in their family suffered from schizophrenia. They were trying to basically show, you know, that cannabis was a factor in this. And what they found out was, well, while they may have people that are a large account of risk, they really think it's down to hereditary disease
Oh yeah.
is more the problem versus having THC. Says here the substance use is significantly higher in individuals with psychosis, but they also felt that a lot of those folks were using that as a medication versus the medication causing the symptom.
Right. They don't like how it's affecting them, their problem, so they're trying to change how
Medicate.
they feel on a daily basis. Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. So they didn't find evidence that it was proving that was the cause of it. They said it was much more likely it was due to hereditary traces.
It reminds me of a poem. Roses are red, and violets are blue. I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I. One of my favorites by Toby.
All right, just waiting here. There was another one in there that was about sleep, and it was the survey was basically saying that if you were a cannabis user, that you would have more likely have sleep problems. But this survey was kind of similar to the psychosis one because they came back and they said, well, no, what we found out is that it's not necessarily that people who use weed have trouble sleeping. It's that people who have trouble sleeping use weed.
There you go. Yeah, because I was gonna say, cause I don't sleep much. I have a hard time sleeping myself, but my back problems. Like I can't lay down for that long. So If I lay down for 8 hours, I'm useless for 2 days. So I have to get up, move around. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the survey also, or the research that they did, basically came out and said, well, yeah, basically the people who use cannabis find it easier to sleep, especially for the first couple of hours after ingesting, which kind of makes sense. And then they basically said that it helps them. So they already had a sleep problem. They found out that this was effective in helping them get some rest. So
Exactly. Yeah, that's my next point. I always smoke them before I go to bed because I'm trying to get to sleep as quick as possible because I can only be there for 3 or 4 hours. You know, if I want to toss and turn for 2 hours because then I'm only going to get an hour and a half, 2 hours sleep.
Yeah, just be tossing and turning the rest of the time.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, there's another state here that also, GW, they just partnered with GW, Georgia.
Okay.
Georgia partnered with GW Pharmaceuticals on giving a CBD study. So, there you have it.
I'm glad the research is being done on something, but
Yeah.
there is other things too. I'd like to see some, CBPs being tested or whatever. One of the other things that we're not even seem.
They're probably
don't
working
even
on
seem
that
to
in
be
RADs
tested
right
yet.
now, not just telling us.
Right.
Right, I mean, there's, 66 some identified cannabinoids, probably more than that.
Right.
And we're only really kind of starting to figure out what CBD is useful for.
Yeah. What if the cure for everything is in there? Seriously. I mean,
Right.
what if one of those cures something specific, and the cannabis derived in different things could cure everything? We need to know that, people.
Yeah, and if they go by, if it takes 10 years to do one type of cannabinoid,
Right.
we're on a long track here, folks.
Mhm.
You
In 100 years, we'll find out if we could have cured you.
if we just gave you the whole plant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they're going to feel dumb in the future for even stopping people in the first place from using, you know what I mean? Why did we do that?
Right.
Could have helped so many people.
Yeah. Alcohol should have been illegal.
We're stupid. Yeah.
We should have kept that illegal and never legalized drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. And if it's not the death rate, if it's a death rate, we provide people with mosquito net. Like mosquitoes kill like 500,000 people a year alone.
Right.
So, it's that if we're focused on death, there'd be other things that we could do to prevent death.
Well, most medications cause death.
Right.
Almost everything on the shelf there is toxic in some level, and THC or just the whole plant itself even has no LD rating. It won't kill you. You'd have to have it dropped on your head.
Yeah. I think
In
that's
order
the
for
only
it to
thing
kill
that they
you.
claim. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was like an accident.
Not ingestion. Even
Yeah.
with the concentrates. I mean, I
I
still
know.
haven't seen any cases there of people, ODing on.
Yeah, you might go white. Might have to have some inner dialogue. Breathe, dude. It's gonna be cool. But you'll be fine. Get some fresh air, some water. I mean, that's the worst that's gonna happen.
Yep. All right, there's the thing here is how long does THC stay in your system? I think everybody knows that it's basically boils down to your metabolism.
Yeah, it's like stores in your fat cells, right, as well. So
Yeah, it
depending
says
on your
here,
body weight.
THC obviously is an active ingredient and then a chemical in there, but the urine test detected a different chemical called THC-COOH. T-coo. THC-coo.
I think I trained in Korea for that.
It says it's the metabolite of THC. It's produced when the liver breaks down THC and stays in the body for much longer.
Gotcha.
So, it says here the most common cutoff level used by drug screening companies is 50 nanograms per milliliter. Less common cutoff levels are 20 and 100. So it says, based on that, the length of detection, it'll vary. No one can really say positively how long you're going to last or test positive for a test.
It's so wrong.
So you really don't. It says extreme cases could be up to 67 days. And it says frequent users could estimate 10 days and occasional users 4 days. So it does depend on how often you're medicating. If you're a heavy case, it might take you up to 67 days, maybe even longer. So that's kind of interesting. It says someone who smokes occasionally or for the first time will likely test positive for 1 to 3 days afterward, according to the NDCI, National Drug Court Institute.
So if you use all the time, your body has to produce those THC whatevers
Metabolite.
to metabolize that. So
THC
maybe
coup.
if you use it all the time, the THC who has to like catch up. Like, you know what I mean?
Or
Is
maybe
that
if
why?
it builds up in your system, and so it takes longer to have it your body exit out. I think that's
Interesting.
what it is. Because if it stores in your fat cells, you know what I mean? But obviously it doesn't stay there.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
body still
It
metabolizes.
just must be where it keeps it until it metabolizes it.
Yeah. Well, it says here, studies suggest someone who smokes often can expect to test positive for around a week following their last use. According to the NDCI, after 10 days, most frequent users should pass a urine test at the 50 nanogram threshold. So,
It's crazy. Just the nanogram thing is so unfair. Like, there's no way that this 3'7" guy is going to test the same way as Andre the Giant, even if they're the same amount of they use
Yeah.
the same amount.
it says in one, they call it an extreme case. This is a person who reportedly used cannabis heavily for the past 10 years, had managed to test positive for up to 67 days after the last use. But that there was by a different standard. It was above 20 nanograms and not the 50.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was kind of
Okay.
wondering, like you're talking about how it's going out of your system, as far as for the test, and that standard of 20 nanograms, 50, does your body take longer the smaller amount that you have? Like a lot of people with losing weight will lose a lot of weight real quickly at first,
Right.
and then it'll take longer and longer to lose more and more weight.
Yeah.
Is this the same sort of thing where those lingering amounts can linger on and on and on?
Right.
And it would depend on the level of the test. So I guess 10 days is not a safe bet is definitely what I would say about what
Yeah.
this research is saying. Especially with someone here testing up to 67 days.
A month if you want to be below the 50 nanogram or whatever thing.
Yeah, I always was told it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks should be cleared out of your system. But
That's if you're working on your metabolism at the same time, though.
right, or how fast your
trying to
body's
flush it.
metabolism
Right.
is.
Yeah, if you're just not doing anything, eating McDonald's all the time and sucking down shakes, it's probably going to stay in your system a little bit longer.
Not going to burn it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something to think about. I mean, obviously, a lot of folks in this state that are concerned with having a medical marijuana card are concerned because of the fact that maybe they've got a job where they have to test.
Of course.
They don't want to bring up the issue. And, I really think that it should be treated just like pharmaceuticals, where, if you have some sort of doctor's recommendation or whatever prescription,
Yeah.
you simply identify that during the test, and then that's something that's waived or passed over. I mean,
Of course.
yeah. So
Like they would do with anything else.
I think that's what they should do with cannabis, but it's not. It's not the practice that has to be followed. Michigan's an at-will employer state, which I think to a degree that's a good thing. But when it comes to having these exceptions made, I mean they're made every day for folks that
Right.
are on prescription, and I think that recommendations should be treated the same way. If your
Yep.
doctor said, "Well, I recommend that you have some sort of special tea or whatever," it doesn't matter. It should count. It's crap.
I'm with you there.
But it's not. So that's one of the things that you have to think about. And if you're one of those people that do get tested on the job, and obviously, you shouldn't be medicating if you're under, the type of thing that's going to require you to be alert. Like if you're a pilot,
Yeah.
it might not be the best thing to be medicating before you take off.
Mm-hmm.
But
You
if
should
you're
be eating pills if you're working in a factory with a machine that could
sure.
smash your hand off.
Or some of these, like we're talking about the CBD type things. If you're on that type of a medication, then you might not even have any of the whatever we call psychotropic effects
Right.
that are associated with THC because it's not there.
Just be like a straight pain relief. I don't even think you would notice any other change to your body.
Right.
I would think, just pain relief, period.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and that's what makes me think that each of those,
It's like an effective aspirin.
yeah, that works and can't kill you.
Right. Motrin without the cancer.
That sounds good. It really does.
As far as getting past a urine test, someone has to make a test, and they're concerned about passing it, so they want to use a product. There's a lot of different products out there. I wouldn't name any by name because I don't really, you should be able to use your medication if you're in the wrong environment.
Yeah.
But water might work. However, they say water could spoil your sample. I think most people are aware of that. You drink too much water, and that's all your body's
Yeah.
eliminating. So
Yeah, somebody was telling me that they also test for potassium levels now for that.
sure.
That's if there's no, really low potassium, then you've been flushing out too much water.
Or I think carotene or something like that. Something else. Might be saying that wrong. But yeah, I think there's a couple creatine levels. That's what it is.
Yep. Creatine.
Carotene. You gotta have a lot of carrot. Eat a lot of sweet potatoes.
Beta carotene.
Yeah, no, it's something that it's unfortunate that it's still recognized that way. I think it needs to have a change there, and I mean it does need to be handled appropriately, just like any medication would. But that's one of those things in society that we've sort of adapted our thinking, and you don't really question somebody if they've got a prescription drug and they're still on the job. Okay, well, of course, and in certain situations, I'm sure there's like I said, like being a pilot or something, then they're probably not going to allow you to have mass amounts of methadone or something like that just because it's prescribed.
Well, basically, they're taking the doctor as an authority figure that says this person can do that. They're just saying, yeah, the doctor says it, that's okay then.
Right.
But in this case, no.
And I think that's why I'm bringing that up. Is it's the counter argument to, well, if you've got somebody who's medicated and now they're doing some type of job, they're an engineer on a train or something, they're not going to be able to function and do that, and they bring up these arguments as sort of a way of rebuttaling and saying, well, yeah, people who are medicated shouldn't be able to have those types of. Well, then why aren't you out there debating prescription drugs as well? I mean, there's already a standard that's there. You know what I mean? Whether you recognize it or not, and I'm sure if we could talk to like a train engineer or a pilot and say, well, what if you were on Vicodin?
Right.
Do they question you with your license? Are you restricted? Certain times you can or can't do your job, and I'm sure they'd already have an answer panned out. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, why can't we just have cannabis included in that discussion and allow that to transpire rather than just having it across the board?
Yeah, I can't deal with the pain pill thing. Like, Vicodins really mess me up. One Vicodin, like, I shouldn't be operating a shopping cart at Walmart. Like, it's dangerous for me.
Sure.
And of course other people can handle their medication better.
Yeah.
And
a lot of folks, I don't think they understand that cannabis is the same way. Someone who doesn't regularly medicate or doesn't medicate at all and then does for the first time or starts to use the medication, they may have those experiences at first. But, just like it says on the bottle of a Marinol jar, once your effects are, once you get used to the effects of this medication, don't go out there and test yourself. Don't operate heavy machinery. And
that's like a given, I would assume, for all medication.
Right.
You get a new medication, you go home and you take your medication. You don't go to Disney World. Hey, I'm going to try this new medication.
Yeah. I'm going to go operate a forklift. It feels good. No, I mean, it's just the conversation's already been had. We just need to have marijuana included in that and treated equally along with other patients that are receiving other types of medications. And I don't think that those additional questions like, well, can they still do this job or can we still have people that operate these types of machineries or whatever, those things are already worked out for prescription drugs, just treated the same way.
Yeah.
Should be. Then we could not have to worry about doing these types of tests. Be like, all right.
It's crazy. Them people already, they're secretly smoking, you know what I mean? So, on most jobs, in my past, when I've got a job, most of my bosses have ended up smoking. At some point you find out. So, everybody's out there, but it's just because society says this and that, so they want to hide it. Society makes people feel bad about it, so they feel like they have to hide it, which is stupid. But they're already doing their job. They probably have been smoking for a while, and their response, they know their limits or whatever.
They're used to their medication.
Yeah, they don't go to work all too high,
Right.
Of course. Just like anybody wouldn't go too drunk. They would call in, I am too drunk to come into work today. I'm still drunk from last night. I cannot come help build a skyrise.
Yeah, you don't want to get on the airplane. How you doing today, Captain?
Recovering, man. We're good. I just use a coffee.
It's only 7 in the morning.
It's only 3 buttons. Go. Autopilot. Land.
Let's see. Nope, that's the same. I was going to say, we talk about the THC preventing the brain damage in rats.
I think we said something about it last time.
We were
Yeah.
talking about that. Those poor rats. I mean, they had to give them brain damage to do the test. That's the thing. That's the thing.
And now they remember everything.
Like, all right, he'll be ready. Nope.
That's horrible.
There we go.
It was probably more brutal than that, but yeah, and maybe chemicals or something to give us something.
Like the picture here of the rat, that's probably not the one that's getting tested.
Oh no, he looks happy.
He looks healthy.
He looks fine.
He's got a
Yeah.
regular shaped head.
They feed me all the time.
His eyes aren't even crossed. I mean, come on.
No lobotomy scar.
Do they GMO engineer the rats to be brain damaged?
Maybe like genetics. Yeah, they just find.
We take the leftover ones from this project and then use them over here.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Recycle, reuse.
Right, the ones that go toward, they just put different pants in front of nice pants and suits and stuff. Whichever one goes towards the overalls, they just use those jeans.
Yes, we have more recruits. All right. Anything else out there happening? Any local stuff going on?
Oh, not really. It's summertime. Little festival's gonna start popping up soon. Trying to be out there, try getting out and about. That's what I've been doing this week, putting in things. So the G3C will probably be out there, see us with our tent, signing up new members. That'd be cool.
Tenting it out.
Yep, hoping to do that for most of summer. And I don't know, when's the High Times thing coming, Cannabis Cup thing coming around here?
I believe that's in July. End of July is what I've been told.
So that ain't far. So if you're working on any good strains, get to it.
I heard the entry fees are up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
You might want to check on that first. There's a House bill that went through in the U.S. Senate, or U.S. House, excuse me, that was retarded. U.S. House bill that went through the Senate. U.S. House bill, it was passed. They actually passed an amendment barring the U.S. Justice Department and the DEA from going after medical marijuana operations and users in states where it is legal. They passed it with one more vote than it needed for an approval. So this is kind of interesting. I mean, so let's go in front of the Senate. The Senate dude, Senate Rohrabacher, called it a no-brainer when debating it with his colleagues. So maybe we'll see. They're saying it has several procedures to go through before it's ratified, and they suspect it will move on to the Senate. And they're saying basically they had some different comments there. One from Rohrabacher says some people are suffering, and if a doctor feels that he needs to prescribe something to alleviate that suffering, it is immoral for this government to get in the way. And that's what's happening. There's another representative, Earl Blumenauer, a Democrat from Oregon, campaigned for the law. Says the conflicting nature of state and federal laws have created an untenable situation. Well, about time. She said this to the reporters during the debate. Blah, blah, blah. It's time we take the federal government out of the equation so medical marijuana business owners operating under state law aren't living in constant fear of having their doors kicked down in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So that'd be pretty cool if this thing passes.
Yeah.
The measure still has a long ways to go. It says they're not sure how much it would do to stop the DEA and the Justice Department from going after business owners and growers. But if it does get passed, that'd be pretty cool.
What's the Senate bill on that again? The number?
Say what?
What number was that again? On the
Let me see if I can pull this up here. No, the number isn't in the article here, John.
Okay. I usually try to tag it, so. All right, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. The number's not on here, so I'm sorry, folks. Can't tell you what that is. This is from tokathetown.com. You can check it out. But this is pretty big news. I saw this on Facebook last week as well. It's the government passing this in the House is awesome. Hopefully it will move on. Hopefully it won't stay, get changed up too much. But I mean, that would be great if they could pass something. And then
It's about time.
I mean, it's not a total relief, obviously, but man, that'd be a big step forward. I think that we could see something on the heels of that, dealing with like the banking regulations and so on and so
Right.
forth. I mean, that would seem an obvious next step if this does get passed. That okay, not only can these businesses go ahead and continue to operate legally under federal law now. The interesting thing is these businesses that are out there, they're paying federal taxes.
Right.
It's not like they get a buy just because it's up in the air whether or not they should exist. They exist, they pay tax.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if they didn't, they'd be under more hell. But I think it's time they should be recognized. And obviously behind that could maybe become an issue for having it rescheduled. The government's still saying there's no medical use for this. Well, okay, now you're okay with, you got 22 states out there with medical marijuana laws
And growing.
in them, yes. And then on top of that, you've passed a bill for the Justice Department and the DEA to be able to do their jobs and back off from this type of activity. Let them go do other things. There's plenty out there for them. That'd be cool.
Yes.
So,
that's what needs to happen.
yeah, call your U.S. Senator, ask him to support this bill. I apologize, I don't have a number for you. I don't know, maybe it changes number from House to Senate. Giving this thing a name? It needs a name. What the heck? See if I can find a name for you folks.
That's weird.
Yeah. Hello. We want you to support the Stop Busting the States bill. I don't know what it's called.
Pew, 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 pew.
Oh well.
Oh,
If I find it here in the next minute or so, I'll let you guys know. You can call your senator.
Yeah, call us if you know.
Yeah.
Who knows out there? Let's play a game. Who knows the name of the mysterious?
U.S. bill. Yeah, I'm all the way back to a couple weeks ago. So see anything for it. All right, that's the mystery question of the week. You guys can do some homework.
That's cool. That's moving forward, and that they're even recognizing that they need to do something about it. You know,
Right.
They could have just ignored it still.
Yeah, even if this bill doesn't go through, at least it gets the discussion up on the table so they can actually talk about it. And I mean, I would think if this doesn't go through, you'd see something else. It was a couple months ago they had a 3-package bill, and one of them was this almost exact concept right here, and then they had 2 more, which one was the banking bill and the other one was something to do with taxes, I believe. But so maybe I hope those other 3 didn't die, but they may have stalled. At least they got one idea out of the 3 to continue to move on. That's a step forward.
Definitely.
That would be good. So, oh well. One other person I want to mention, let's see if I pull this up here on my email. This is the Attorney General, state election that's coming up this year. You guys will be voting for, obviously for governor, and then for your Secretary of State. So all of you probably are aware that the current Secretary of State has not exactly been a supporter of medical marijuana. And so his opponent that's running this year, his name is Mark Totten. And seems to be doing pretty good. Mr. Totten's been able to get endorsements from quite a few different county prosecutors, county sheriffs from across Michigan. Senate Democratic leader Gretchen Whitmer endorses him as well, and a couple other important people. So the guy's for real. He's the real deal. See his background, says he was a former federal prosecutor and a law professor currently at Michigan State University. Has a degree and PhD in ethics from Yale University. So says also previously served as an attorney in the U.S. State's Department of Justice and a clerk on the Federal Court of Appeals. So he's got a lot of experience, sort of a attorney / politician type of fella. But at any rate, definitely an alternative to the current administration. So someone to look into, someone to consider. He's the Democratic candidate. And Mark Totten.
Totten.
Totten. Totten. I'm not sure Mr. Totten's views on medical marijuana. I think it's more cooperative than the current administration. I don't know that he's come out and said that he would provide anything or as far as
using that
general
platform.
direction. Yeah, he's not on the marijuana platform, but he is, I think, more amicable than our current situation. So,
Very cool.
check it out. Like to see something different, that's for sure. I mean,
Change is good sometimes, yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, let's see.
Power to the people, people, power, power.
If you vote.
Right.
If you vote. Still on that bill number. Can't find it.
No bill number. Nobody's called in. 810.
Here we go. I got a name for you.
Okay.
The Rohrabacher Farr Amendment to the Commerce, Science, and Justice Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2015. It's a hell of a bill. Damn, I thought it'd be shorter. Something catchy.
Yeah, we need an acronym.
Something catchy. All right, so this is it's an amendment to a bill. All right,
There you go.
to an appropriations bill. So that's actually dealing directly with what we're talking about as far as giving money to the DEA to go after certain types of investigations. This year is directing what money's going towards what. They're saying, okay, well, part of that direction should say or should cite, hey, don't pursue these types of
Gotcha.
things. So that's a pretty powerful way to get it done.
Yeah.
Hold the money. So
Mm-hmm.
this group here, this is Americans for Safe Access. They're doing some of the lobbying that's happened to make this a possibility. So give them some props, give them your support, Americans for Safe Access. And so, hey, I mean, that's pretty awesome. So I'm sorry, I still don't have a number for you. A number would be a lot easier. I want you to just remember, it's a amendment to the Rohrabacher, holy smokes, Rohrabacher Farr Amendment. Just tell me, I want that far out amendment.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, man.
Aurora Far Out Amendment.
They'll be like, oh yeah, we got you down.
We know what you mean.
How much?
It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's the longest title for an amendment. That'd probably be easier way to find the number from the Guinness Book. Oh. You know, this Guinness Book of World Records holds the record for the book that's stolen the most from the library.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty
The
awesome.
most stolen book from libraries is.
Well, yeah, it's like an $80 book or something, right? No, somebody checks it out. They're like, yeah, I'm taking it back.
It's like the reference book that everyone needs. You know, you're like, oh, I think someone did that faster. Hang on. Look, another article about that bill, and there's no number. That's the mystery number.
It's a conspiracy.
It's just the appropriations bill, but do you think it's still a number? All right, this is interesting. Nevada has a legalization ballot initiative being launched. They're trying to have it on the ballot in 2016 to end marijuana prohibition in Nevada. So
They're
looks
pretty
like
tough around there too right now, so that would be a big step.
well, they have medical marijuana in Nevada.
Oh, they do right now?
Yeah,
Oh,
and they're working on trying to approve dispensaries and so forth. I think they're like going through all that, but yeah. So this would be just to have it out legalized, but they're getting some play on it. The Democratic State Senator Tick Segerblom and former Nevada Republican Senate Caucus Director Joe Bresney, the first people to sign the petition. So getting some people to sign it that matter.
yeah,
But,
that'd be cool.
yeah, it's for Nevada, so maybe people out there can get enough signatures collected. Sure, you have to live in Nevada to sign the petition. So if you're out there visiting Vegas on the weekend, don't worry. It's not going to count. But if you know someone out there in Nevada, tell them to get on the ball and sign the petition. All right.
Yeah, how did I miss that? I didn't know Nevada had.
Yeah, I think so. And also, Minnesota was one of the states that I don't know if we included them earlier when we were talking about CBD legislation, but they're on the bandwagon as well. Governor Mark Dayton signed a bill into law making Minnesota the 22nd state to legalize medical marijuana. So they have a bill. This is that I think this is one of those research bills where they're given permission for university. Let's see here, just make sure I'm right.
I wonder how they pronounce marijuana there.
Marijuana. Marijuana. I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is a CBD bill that they would have access to CBD oil it's in effect. The governor signed the bill. So
That's an
they-
awesome
people
thing,
need
and
that.
it's huge, but on the same, it's like they're going through all this to give people really good aspirin. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's cool, but
See, to
why
me,
should it be such a big deal for CBD? You know what I mean?
To me, it seems so odd because you can't produce CBD without having THC as well,
Right.
or you can't just produce CBD. So even if someone has done an extraction or something like this, I mean, if they're testing for all of the cannabinoids that are present in that sample, I'm sure there's a heck of a lot more than just one.
Right.
You know, and the fact that it's got diminished THC, maybe that's what they should call it. Is this is lowered THC
Right.
cannabinoids. Anyways, plus, how do you? What protection does that provide for the person who's trying to produce that? You know, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
They had the same type of thing in Iowa. They passed the medical marijuana bill there for CBD only products, but no ability to produce cannabis or to acquire it. So these people have, that get qualified or can now get a recommendation from their doctor for a CBD product. Okay, they're fine to have that in the state of Iowa, but they're going to have to drive across Nebraska to get to Colorado to get it. So they're going to have to break federal crime going across state lines into an area that does not have.
Wow.
So that's 2 federal crimes actually. One for having the marijuana type product, and then the other one for going across state lines. So they're trafficking. They're forcing them to do, and then the legislature of Iowa passes the bill. They're like, yeah, that sounds like a good solution. Let's let them go ahead and have their CBD product.
Wow.
line the agents up at the border.
Yep.
Well, once they get, you got to stop them in Nebraska though, because once they get to Iowa, they're okay.
Right.
Maybe that's the deal Nebraska wanted to pass. I don't know.
Back to money.
Like, what are you doing? If you're gonna create a bill to allow people to have access, then why don't you allow them access without having to risk their lives? Hello, what are we saying here, folks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe somewhere, someone in Iowa will be like, yes, we can still.
We just got to keep in mind that they know what's best for us, and we'll be okay.
Oops. Not that one.
The smart people make the decisions. I just go to work in the morning.
Trying to see if this is anything at all. Has anyone filled out a recent application to the state? How long has it taken now with getting apps back?
Most people are on like a little bit past 2 months. The people
Okay.
that are bitching about not receiving them yet. Last time I did it, I received mine in like 28 days or something. It was a little bit less than a month.
Okay. What do you think the average is that we're seeing down at the club with folks that have sent out?
I would say 10 weeks.
So
Average.
over 2 months
Yeah.
is the average?
Yeah.
Okay. We had some folks asking questions about that. How long is the state taking? And it seems to be a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes I'll hear right around a month, and other times I'll hear it's been 3 months. So
Yeah, most everybody's, it's been, right after they'll bitch about the 2 month mark, and then they'll come in, yeah, got my new one. Yeah.
right on. Well, I know that on the state's website, if you have sent in, paperwork to the state, you're waiting on your card. The state says 60 days. So after 60 days, you can call to Lara and find out, if your check has been cashed, money order, whatever it is, and then find out what's happening with your application. Make sure that it's getting processed. Make sure that they have it, and
Right.
find out hopefully when are you going to get that. I know that most people are not taking longer than 3 months. So if you've had one out there longer than 90 days, you definitely need to call and check on your application and see what's going on. Now, if you're a caregiver, that's something that your patient's going to have to do for you. They're not going to check and see when you're good. They're going to want to know what the patient's name is. So patients is something that you have to kind of do. So in a case where you have a caregiver maybe and they haven't gotten their card, maybe you have yours, you definitely want to call because obviously there's something up with that. But otherwise, yeah, if you haven't got your card, give the state a call. After 60 days, they can find out what's going on.
60 days. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then
2 months.
but I have heard of folks getting them back as quick as 3 weeks as well. So maybe if you get to the top of the pile or the bottom, it might take a little longer than somebody else.
Yeah.
Anything over 90 days, you definitely want to call because they're turning them around at least within that time frame. So, and I mean, if you remember, folks of you who were in this program for over 2 years, the first couple of years of this program, it was rough.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be waiting, in some cases, 6-7 months,
Mm-hmm.
and that was kind of the norm. And so we carrying around the stack of paperwork for 6 months, trying to make sure you're legal.
And they did have it down to a month not too long ago.
Yeah.
They were turning them over pretty quick.
I think this time of year is probably busy for them. I know a lot of folks, when the program first became available, it was April, and because
That
the
makes
law
sense,
passed in December, but they didn't start rolling out the applications until I think around the 1st of April, and then that's when the first people started getting signed up. So as far as renewals,
Big wave.
probably have a wave of renewals in the months of April and May, and but at any rate, yeah. So 90 days, if you can expect to get it within that time period. If you pass that, you definitely want to call and find out what's going on with your application. And much longer than 90 days, and you start worrying about were you rejected?
Yeah.
Is something wrong with your application? Maybe you forgot to fill out a line. They're a lot easier to do now. It used to be 6 pages and like 35 boxes you had to check off.
It's 2 pages now.
Yeah, now it's very simple, so not too difficult. I know there's still definitely you have to make sure all your copies are there and that you've got everything in order. So you definitely want to give it a second look before you mail it off. But yeah, other than that, not too bad.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And they're cool. Everybody, I haven't had anybody complain that has had to call down there.
Right.
And they said they're really helpful. Haven't given any problems. Yeah.
so don't give them a hard time.
Right.
They're nice people.
Relax. Don't do it.
All right, that's about all the news we got for you this week. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, we got the soup kitchen this Friday, so come on down if you can. We'd love to see you there. And
People got to eat.
that's right. Give serving the good stuff. But thanks for joining us, guys. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you here next week on the Genesee County Compassion Clip Show.